Hey, this is Pamela Wang, and you're listening to the Party Chat Podcast.
Xbox on.
Game on, baby! Wow!
Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep.
Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to Xbox One Party Chat Podcast. It's the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit. I am your host Ross, and I'm joined by everyone's favourite uncle. It's Clay Parker.
Woohoo! I'm back from the dead.
And Delicious Cheese. How you doing?
I'm not bad. I'm afraid I can't match Clayton's enthusiasm. It's far too late for woohoos.
Now, later on in the episode, we do have an interview with Pamela Wang, who's a community manager at Microsoft and has worked on games or been a community manager for games like Recore.
Yeah.
So we'll get to her a little bit later, but we traditionally start this podcast with what we have been playing. So guys, I'm going to turn to you, Rhys, for a change and ask, what have you been playing? And please don't mention Nintendo games.
Oh, that's hard.
So anyway, that's Rhys done. Play.
Sorry, you said don't mention Nintendo games. I have been playing Zelda, The Legend of 10 out of 10 of the Wild, and that's the only thing I have been playing, except I squeezed in 2 levels of Zombie Vikings for the Xbox One before I came on the pod, actually, with my girlfriend. I have to say, I have been using the Switch for the last, basically non-stop for the last 2 weeks. And it's great. And Zelda is amazing. You already know that. Everyone knows that. It's like a scientific fact. But once I picked up the Elite controller again after 2 weeks of using the Switch controller, so it was like, oh, it's like coming home. Like, it's
my hands, they feel so much better. The joints, they're not hurting after 30 minutes of gameplay.
Honestly, I really... I'm sorry, Xbox. I took you for granted. For too long, I was really taking you for granted. I'll never take that controller for granted again. Wow. What a great controller.
Also, why are all the buttons reversed? Why is X not where it's meant to be?
My goodness, that drives me crazy.
I have died so many times in The Legend of Zelda because of that. Oh. It's like, press X to open up your parachute, and I slam what should be X and actually happens to be strike the sword. Yeah. And if you're in the air, instead of opening your parachute, you do like a plunging attack. I've plunged down many cliffs.
Is press X to pay respects?
No, sadly. Well, actually, you can go and pay respects, but it's press... is it press A?
A.
It's where B should be.
That's right.
Why did you do this, Nintendo?
Audible.
Why?
Clay, what have you been playing?
A lot like Rhys, I've been playing a lot of Zelda. Can't stop playing that. But I did, over the weekend, jump back on to my beloved friend Rainbow Six Siege. And I have to say, I am very proud, and I so wish I was streaming or recording it. It was the first game that I've played of Siege in over probably a week, and I went, I think, 10 kills, 2 deaths, in one game mode, and was thoroughly pleased with myself. I was carrying the team as I should be with my uber skills of Siege.
I saw a Siege GIF on gaming just 2 days ago. It made me think of you and your uber skills. There was this one guy.
By the way, I suck.
And it was 2 or 3v1, and the camera was in the guy who was like on his own, the lone wolf, and there was like 3 guys after him, and he was peeking around like a staircase, and he could see the 3 of them down there, and he obviously knew that if he opened fire, the 3 would just turn around and kill him. So he made like a sound to make them look in one particular direction, and he sprinted up the stairs, smashed a window, climbed out onto the roof, jumped off the roof and spun around in the air, and then aimed down his sights as he fell and shot all 3 of them before he hit the ground. And he died when he hit the ground, but he didn't kill him. He went into like the down state, like he broke his legs.
Yeah.
And the other 3 guys all got shot in the face, so it counted as a win. And the caption just said something like, calculated or whatever.
It's a beautiful game. It's a very beautiful game.
Yep, so for me, I'm the only one that's playing something different for a change. A couple of different games. Tabletop Racer.
What's that?
Tabletop Racing, I think it is, World Tour. It's an arcade-style racer in a sort of Micro Machines vein, where it's behind, normal sort of driving mechanic, but you're going over tables and things like that. Myself and my kid had good fun playing through that anyway. And the multiplayer online's quite good fun, because you do get power-ups, like Mario Kart-style power-ups and things like that. So it's a lot of good fun. A lot of good fun.
How much is that?
I think it was 12.
Might have to look that up. You're talking Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xbox, yeah. Other than that, I've been playing Soul Axiom.
Ah.
So we're really enjoying that. It's a puzzle game essentially, but it's decent fun. Been playing through that over the last couple of nights. And I went back and started playing Hitman again. And man, I just love that game.
Hatman.
Hitman.
Hatman. Was that where you wear like a lot of top hats?
Well, there is a Candleman game as well, isn't there? But no, Hitman, as in Agent 47.
I'm just teasing.
I didn't notice, Clay.
No, you were very subtle, Clay. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Sort of, you came in from nowhere.
The Hatman series. I love that series.
But has anybody played the Mass Effect Andromeda trial yet?
You can safely guess that I haven't. I'm going to, though. I promised that I would give it a fair shot, and I will.
I've downloaded it, and I'm going to play it this week just for the fun of it, based on all of the GIFs and clips that I've seen of people doing like the most awkward facial creations for any game that I've ever seen.
Well, basically that sort of segues us into the first article.
So should we find out what's happening in the subreddit then?
You probably should.
You're listening to Xbox One Party Chat podcast.
Maybe.
This week in the subreddit.
Mass Effect Andromeda has been released, guys, speaking of it. And it has been released to what I would describe as polarizing reviews. Thoughts?
I thought you were going to say meh reviews.
Meh. Well, no. Calling the reviews meh is a bit unfair, because it's had quite a few positive reviews, like quite a few very positive, and a few fairly negative, and quite a few in the middle as well. So what do you guys think of all that hullabaloo?
Well, it's not a game that I'm interested in myself. I'm not a huge fan of the BioWare games, but the fact that it isn't came out and getting 9s and 10s everywhere makes me want to play it. Bizarrely. I don't know. I expected it to be this glorious game, and I've said this in the beginning. I want to be into Mass Effect, but something didn't quite click with me. And maybe knowing that I'm not missing as much as what I thought it was going to be is not annoying me as much, if that makes sense.
In a weird way, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to give this game a fair shot with the trial at least, and if I like the trial, I will buy it. Now, people are saying meh reviews because it isn't 9s and 10s all round. It's easily hitting 7s and 8s, which is...
Don't you know that's like the modern review score? 7 out of 10, totally unplayable, garbage.
I totally disagree with the review scores.
I think part of the problem is people have gone into this because there are 3 previous titles that are pretty high up there in terms of ratings and how well they were developed and designed and the gameplay. Maybe not so much on the first one, but the second and the third were really good. And I mean, it looked like this one was just going to be expanding on everything that was really great about the previous trilogy, other than completely wonking up the facial expressions and character designer and
They
some of
always
the other
have
animations.
wonky facial animations. There's thousands of GIFs of Mass Effect 3. Like, people, it turned into its own set of memes. Well, bang, okay. Like, that didn't actually happen in the game, you know. But one thing I want to say, actually, about that is everyone is saying that the gameplay is better than Mass Effect 2 and 3. Everyone's complaining about the writing. And that really bothers me, because everyone is talking like the writing in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 was actually good. And it wasn't. It was like a D-grade video game script. The concept for Mass Effect was stolen, plagiarized almost, piecemeal from a very famous British novel called Revelation Space. If you haven't read it, I recommend you do. It's actually pretty cool. All they did was change a few characters around and change the name of the inhibitors to the Reapers, and boom, there's your game. And I mean, you know, video games borrowing from established novels is you know, par for the course. Nobody complained when Halo borrowed very heavily from Ringworld, but saying that the series was some sort of literary masterpiece is just disingenuous. It was always cheesy and it was always badly written, and that was kind of the fun of it, I thought.
Yeah.
See, what I'm getting from the reviews...
I think I just ranted. Sorry.
A little rant.
What I'm getting from the reviews that I'm reading are, it's a good story, but in a not so entertaining world. So I'm getting opposite, because you're saying the gameplay's better.
Yeah, well, this is why they're polarizing reviews, I suppose. They're all quite different.
I'm starting to feel that Mass Effect, for the hardcore fans, it's always going to be amazing, as it is for me with Gears and Clay with his whatever he likes. But, but you know, like, I'm quite happy that this has divided opinion a little bit, and I hope those that are into Mass Effect, as much as I've joked around for the last few months, I hope you get your money's worth and you fully enjoy it, and at least anything, it's got everybody talking, so that can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, and criticism is always good for the medium, I think. Like, without criticism, nothing gets better.
Exactly. What else been happening to subreddit, Clay?
Well, it looks like we have a little update on Outlast 2, and it appears that it has been blocked/banned from being released in Australia. They are being refused classification in Australia. It was posted by Nicologs. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Nicologs.
But yeah, I guess it appears to be due to some rape and sexual violence within the game. Did you guys... have we talked about Outlast at all?
A little bit, but not at length.
Yeah.
I can't play it. I think it's too stressful, the first one, so there's no chance for the second.
I keep wanting to fire it up now that it was Games with Gold a month or so ago.
I've got a lot of friends that are really, really into Outlast. Can't wait for the sequel. I watched one of my friends play through the Outlast 2 demo on my console, and it looks really, really good, very tense. I think when you're doing a game like that is going to push boundaries because of horror, like, is there a disparity between video games and movies with regards to classification because you are performing these actions yourself or viewing them yourself, or you can interact somehow? It's a bit of a grey area, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and Australia's always been really strict about that. Right. They only just recently allowed there to be games classified as R18 plus, and even this has exceeded what they classify as R-rated. So yeah.
It surprises me a little bit. When I think Australia, I don't think super strict.
Actually, Australia is an incredibly conservative society. Seriously. No one ever thinks that. They think of like chilled out bleach blonde dude
Yes.
at the beach. But Australia is incredibly conservative. And you know what? My cat is now hammering at the door to go out. So I'm just
I can hear it.
I'm just going to go and let the cat out. And you know, don't even edit this out. You guys just talk about Outlast. I want to go and deal with this cat. Excuse me.
That's all right. It's Outlast Rhys edition. See if he makes it back. He only has a cell phone with limited battery. And
A video camera with a light
that's
on
what
it.
it was. Yeah, video camera with a light on it.
Podcasting, ladies and gentlemen.
Woohoo! We're back.
So, I promised it earlier, and we do have a bit of an interview for you. So here it is.
Xbox Snap this week's interview.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for this week's interview, and today we have a very special guest for you today, Miss Pamela Wang from Microsoft. She is a community manager there. Hi, Pam.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. So, basically, I'm going to start off the same way we start every interview. And why don't you tell us, who you are and a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Well, I will say that I find it interesting that whenever people always ask, like, who are you? And people define themselves by their jobs. But you know what? I am more than my job. But so, yeah, I am
more than a label.
Yes. I am a community manager at Microsoft Studios. And on the side, I play lots of video games. And I also make art. I do painting and drawing. I do a lot of stuff. Whenever I do drawing, I do a lot of the anime style stuff. It's just a really fun hobby. I love drawing and painting. So, yeah.
So, you've told us what you do in your day-to-day. What type of things do you get up to?
In my day-to-day, like at work, I would say that there is like no normal day-to-day thing that happens. I mean, I just get so many different tasks, it changes up a lot, but I would say like typically I'll start with like doing emails, and then I'll be on Twitter and Facebook and some of our forums, talking with fans there. And sometimes I will get to do some really cool fun posts. Like today, I actually got to make some fun content that we'll be putting out for next week, for Age of Empires. So I'm not, by the way, I am not the Age of Empires community manager, but I am helping out our community manager do some fun content because he's just been busy. We have the Age of Empires 2, 3, and Mythology communities, and it's just so many people. So I've just been helping out with some fun content that we can put out, either whether it's just a meme or if it's these fun little videos we've been putting out. So there's that. Alongside, I also manage Recore, all the social channels there and all the content we put out. And for a while there, I was also working with the Microsoft Studios brand, the Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. But that one, honestly, is kind of like, I would say, a group effort here at Microsoft Studios because we have several community managers and we all kind of pitch in and help out and do blogs and post on that channel and respond to people and talk with everyone.
Sweet. I was going to ask you about some of the projects that you've worked on, but it sounds like you just sort of ran through those. I am going to ask you about more specifically Recore, and I guess what was it like working with the Recore community there?
Oh my gosh. So I love the Recore community, and I love the people who talk with us and interact with us because they're just so passionate about the game. And I think one of my favorite things that we did was we were doing these Puzzle Fridays. And so everyone was coming to the point where it's like, where's the puzzle? And we put out like these secret messages in the core bot language, and people would have to decipher what it was for the week. But aside from talking with people externally, like internally, I absolutely loved working with the production team here at Microsoft Studios on Recore. They are some of the, just some of the most hardworking people I've met.
I was going to ask, like, well, what are some of the coolest things you actually got to do, see and do while you were working on the project? I mean, there was a lot of famous names involved in that game.
Yes, and you mentioned a famous name. Like, I know so Keiji Inafune was involved. And I can remember, so I went to E3 last year, and I actually haven't met him. And I was wanting to meet him and be like, hey, I'm the community manager for this game you're working on. And I was looking for him, and I was trying to hook up with some people like, hey, where is he? Like, can you give me an introduction? And nobody knew where he was. And finally, I was just randomly walking the show floor, and I saw him. I'm like, that's the guy. That's the guy I recognize from all those pictures. And we had this moment where we both look at each other, and he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh no, wait, no, I'm not a fan. Like, I'm not going to chase you down. And so I'm like starting to follow him, and he's starting to run away, like thinking I'm some kind of crazy fan. Like, no, I really wanted to talk with you. But later on, I finally did get that introduction, and I did get to meet him. But there, there's a little bit of a language barrier there because he speaks Japanese, and I speak very little. But that was a funny moment because he thought that I was some fan running after him, and I was, no, I just want to talk to you.
I actually work for you.
I work for him, on this game.
That's great.
But I'd say my favorite thing that I did was I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con, and I got to go to San Diego Comic-Con for Recore. And if you've never been, you have to go. It is my favorite convention I've ever been to. And for that convention, we actually reached out to one of our community cosplayers. She had dressed up as Jewel and created her own Mac. And this was like 7-8 months before the game even came out. And she was like tweeting us pictures of this costume and this Mac that she made. And it was just so fantastic. And she didn't have a lot of followers or anything. But I'm like, this is really cool. She did a fantastic job. She's really excited about this game. She's really passionate about her cosplay. And so I talked to the teams here, and then they all agreed, like, yeah, let's extend an invitation for her to come out, because we were going to have a photo booth for people to take, like cool Recore photos with. And I'm like, she could be at the photo booth. That would be really great. And I'm very happy she accepted, and she came out, and she was such a wonderful person. And that was just a really awesome moment to be able to find someone that was just so passionate about the game, and to help bring that opportunity to them as well to come out to San Diego Comic-Con, which it was both of our first times, so we had a great time.
That's
awesome.
Really cool. I mean, Recore has, I think, in my opinion, one of the best things about it is the incredible art style. And Jewel is such a fun character, I think, to cosplay, because she's got like all this really cool and unique sort of stuff and gadgets and guns and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I think her costume is amazing. And we're still seeing people just now finding the game and just now starting to cosplay. And anytime I see that, I'm definitely making sure to share that, because I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love cosplay. I love it when people get so excited about it. They spend that much time and effort and money to create, something physical with this game that they love.
Oh, yeah, I know just a little bit about that. So
it's really fun. I dressed up as a pirate last year for Gamescom. Messing around with the guys from Rare and Sea of Thieves. That was fun. The best thing about being dressed as a pirate at a convention is you have like carte blanche to go wherever you want, do whatever you want, and harass whoever you want, because you just go backstage and start taking things, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a pirate. It's okay."
Oh, it's
so you can do whatever you want. I recommend it. Would recommend.
Around the Sea of Thieves booth, did they have the band, like the pirate band? Were they there?
Yes. And one of the guys tried to hit on my girlfriend during the show. We almost had like a pirate fight. It was great. And then later on, he sent me a Twitter message. Like, he actually tracked me down on Twitter and apologized. Like, sorry, dude.
Rhys,
Oh,
what is a
sure you're
pirate
like-
fight?
A pirate fight? I don't know. It's where two pirates like yar at one another.
Interesting.
yeah, I would go with that. Yar and staring at each other and grimacing.
Yes. Shaking our hooks. So before we move on, I actually just want to quickly jump way back. And I just have to quickly mention the awesome collaboration that we had, because that's actually how we met you on the subreddit. We organized together to do a fan art contest. If anyone who's listening remembers that, we had some absolutely incredible entries for that.
Yes. And the Sea of
awesome.
Thieves one, the Sea of Thieves and Recore collaboration, that was the one that won, didn't it?
Yeah, it was great. Someone went out and took a photo in the dead of the morning, and then they photoshopped Mac and Jewel and also a pirate ship, and it was like a really incredible sort of digital matte painting. It was, and then they did a sped up GIF of them actually painting it.
Yes, that's right.
Right, so moving on, I've got quite a short question for you. Okay, now you do work with other community managers, of course, and you work a lot with Josh Stein, not Steen.
Yes, I do.
Now, we've had him on the podcast a couple of times. Can you tell us, like, how much coffee do you think that guy drinks in a day? And does he really take a selfie with each cup?
Oh my God. So let me tell you, I don't know, like when you look at his Twitter feed, you see him, he's always talking about like coffee and taking selfies and everything else. Those two things are very true. He really is drinking that much coffee and he really is always taking a selfie probably every other hour. I'm walking by his office. What are you doing with that? Nothing.
You know, I actually sent Josh some coffee. I have a friend who owns a coffee roastery, and together we made this special coffee just for him, and I sent it up to him.
Oh, that's nice. Did he ever say anything? Like, did he ever try it?
I hope so.
I will find out for you and message back.
Yeah, but that man likes coffee.
Just a little bit.
I would agree. You know, though, I would say it's something with the Pacific Northwest because since I've been out here, I would probably drink 1 or 2 coffees a week. Like, I just wouldn't have coffee that much. But there's something about the weather here that makes you like, I need coffee right now. But that guy, it's like 4 or 5 lattes. I'm like, how do you sleep at night? I don't know.
Probably doesn't. Just games and more gaming.
Because he's on. Like, I'm like, it's 2 a.m., dude. Like, I know why I'm up, but why are you up?
So Pamela, what kind of gamer are you? And I guess what kind of genre of games do you typically play?
You know, I think I've played pretty much every kind of genre, or most genres. And it's changed over the years, but I'd say right now I classify myself as mainly an RTS and MMO player. Those are my favorite. And so when you were mentioning Age of Empires and your love for Age of Empires, like me too. Like when I got on this team a few years ago, I was like, mark my words, I will do something with Age of Empires. I may not be the Age of Empires community manager, but dagnabbit, I am going to do something. And thankfully right now I'm getting to do a couple things here and there with it. So that's been really, really awesome. It's almost like a dream for me. Like I just can't believe that I get to work with that. But some of the RTS games I'm playing right now are like Company of Heroes 2 and Off-World Trading Company. Those are my 2 favorites. And I think over the weekend I played Company of Heroes 2, Off-World Trading Company. I played 7 Days to Die. That's a really fun one. I don't know if you guys are into MMOs and zombies, but it's kind of like open world survival. Not really MMO. But also Star Wars The Old Republic.
Nice.
And I've been playing a lot of The Division lately. And I know that's an older game, like it came out last year. But I'm one of those people that like I find my couple of games that I really, really like, and I stick with it for a really long time, which is probably why I love community so much, because I'm one of those people that like to stick with the game that I love and then go back to the community and find more things, find other people who just obsess and love this game as much as I do, and just keep playing it. Yeah, if you were asking me like, oh, are you playing like the latest and hottest game right now? The answer is probably no. I kind of stick with my
I can tell you now, see, Ross is giggling because he knows what I'm about to say. You're in pretty good company because you know, if you talk to Clay, for example, there's one particular game that he plays, and basically one only. Isn't that right, Clay?
No. I branch out from time to time, from maybe one game a month at a time.
and when it comes to Ross, it's even worse. How many hours are you up to now, Ross?
9:25.
9:25. Ross plays Rocket League.
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh, I see. I know many of people that love that game almost as much. Maybe you love it just a little bit more, which is awesome.
And I'm not any better at it. That's the annoying thing. You think after over a year I would be winning games? Not anymore. No. Everyone get better. I've stayed the same.
Do any of you play MMOs?
I used to, but I don't have much time for it anymore.
I understand that. Like, I will probably boot it up once or twice a week, and I'm still paying like a monthly subscription.
Yeah.
I constantly question my decision about that, but I'm definitely one of those people. I will make one character type. It's like you have all these different classes that you could choose from, and I'm like, this is the class, this is my character, and I'm sticking with it for the next 4 years. And I am not one of those people to constantly like make a whole bunch of characters. Nobody understands this. I feel alone in this, but that's kind of the player.
I do the same. I also very rarely play through games a second time. I know that's like gamer blasphemy, but normally I'm a one and done kind of guy.
What kind of games have you guys like played through multiple times? I think the only ones I've ever done are some of the Final Fantasy games.
Well, I recently started Skyrim, or finished Skyrim again, actually.
Wow.
And 3 times I've started that game, and 3 times I've promised myself I would do a different character from what I'm expecting. But for some reason, I always end up as a stealthy archer.
It's just your nature. It's who you
It's the
are.
natural progression. It's like I've tried to play Mass Effect through more than once, and I always end up just going straight back to Renegade. I can't help myself. Like the option is like I'm trying to do a Paragon playthrough, and it's like the option to punch the reporters there, and I'm like, must fight Satan. I can't do it.
Played Gears of War 3 probably about 7 or 8 times the whole way through.
Really?
Gears of War 1 probably 5 or 6. Yeah.
You're a bit of a Gears of War junkie.
I'm a Gears of War junkie, to be fair, so that's probably expected. But yeah, I've only played 4 twice. Plenty of time. It's not long.
I think when I've played back through games, it was because of achievements. So missed achievements to go back through, or those that you need to play it on another difficulty, or like the Mass Effect style, you have to go one way or the other to unlock that.
I am missing achievements on my Switch, I have to say. I've been playing Zelda for the last 3 weeks nonstop, and I'm like, it's good, but where I need that little bloop. Yeah,
Have you-
without the bloop, it's wrong.
How long of a game is that supposed to be? Like, are you close to? Oh my
Zelda?
goodness!
Oh, it's
Yeah.
huge.
It's huge.
Absolutely immense. Like, if you like MMOs, I really recommend that you play Zelda, because it's the world is massive on a scale like, for example, if you think of a big open world game that's kind of popular, like, for example, Skyrim or Fallout 4, the world is large, but not that big, but it's really dense. But if you compare it to like a typical MMO game like World of Warcraft, the world is bigger, but more realistically laid out with like large empty spaces basically in between stuff, and you need a horse or a mount or whatever to go between these distances. And Zelda is more like that. Like it would take hours to walk from one end to the other of the map.
And
Oh my
I
God,
find myself getting sidetracked and
Oh.
just aimlessly.
It's like-
oh, what's that over there? All right, let me just climb up
it's
this
like,
mountain and
you
see.
know-
I bet I can climb to the top of that. Let me try.
And then when you get to the top, it's like, I should keep going in that direction, but I could totally surf on my shield all the way back down.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Whenever you can just aimlessly like start doing random things in games, which is probably why I love MMOs and so much. That definitely sounds like a game I would love.
Yeah, it's
I just need to get a Switch,
Right.
which will be a while, I'm sure.
So I'll take this one from Ross. What kind of game are you playing? Anything right now? You said you're not the latest releases, but is there anything that you're actively playing at the moment?
All of those games I listed were pretty much games I played over the weekend. Yeah, I will play a game. I'll spend like, oh my gosh, I'm realizing how terrible this is. I really will spend my whole weekends, if possible, just playing games all Saturday, all Sunday, because that's the only time I really get to log in and play anything. I'll switch between. Oh, you do? Yes.
I want to. I don't get a chance.
Oh, you don't get to. I know. I was like, I feel kind of spoiled. Should I say this? Should I admit? But I spend my weekends, playing games, and every few hours I'll go out for a walk, then come back and switch to another game. But yeah,
If
it's
you had a switch when you went out for the walk, you wouldn't need to stop.
Oh no, I need to get away from the no. Let's like my husband will be like, "Hey, we're going for a walk. Let's play Pokemon Go," and I'm like, "No, I need a few minutes away from everything. I need a break."
So you mentioned what you're playing at the moment, but can I ask, what is it that got you into gaming? Do you have like a gateway system from your youth?
That's actually a funny question because I don't know if I can answer that. I just started playing as a little kid. Like, I think at 4, I started playing Nintendo, playing Mario and Duck Hunt. And
Duck Hunt?
Yeah. From there, it turned into like a Sega CD, and then N64, Xbox, original Xbox and Xbox 360, Xbox One, and also PlayStation somewhere in there. So, I just always really liked games, and I just played games.
Yeah, no, that's similar to the answer I'd give, I suppose.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting too because I never knew a lot of other girls that played games, and I know there's always this thing of it definitely seems like there's more guys, not just that play games, but also in the gaming industry. And it wasn't until I got a job in the gaming industry that I realized, wow, it is kind of interesting that I just kind of, I guess, started picking up and playing games. But I don't understand why that would be, because they're just fun. It's a really fun way to pass time. It's also something fun to talk about. It's also really engaging, and there's a lot of strategy in there. It's so I definitely did bring in a lot of my friends from school through elementary to high school. Even in college, I did bring a lot of people into gaming and shared my hobby with them.
Good.
Well, speaking of sharing that hobby, Microsoft is rolling out Beam streaming out to the consoles here to everybody. Are you streaming any games when you play?
I used to, but I do have plans to stream hopefully soon on Beam as well. And I'm hoping we get to do some streams here for Microsoft Studios as well, but we'll see.
Fun.
So I have a really serious question, and if anyone who doesn't follow Microsoft people on Twitter probably is going to have no idea what I'm asking, but is it true that you work in an oven?
You said that and my heater just kicked on. I have a little space. Yes. Yes, it is.
So for everyone who doesn't know, there's something of an in-joke with people from Microsoft that walking into Pamela's office is like walking into the 6th layer of hell for how hot it is.
Yeah. In fact, someone reminded me that this morning.
I've seen so many amazing GIFs posted by random people who just went into your office, like the melting scene from Indiana Jones and stuff.
Yes. That would be my office.
So totally unrelated, right? But how did Indiana Jones know to turn away?
He's Indiana Jones, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone else is looking directly at the Ark. How did he know to turn away?
This is indie.
That's
moving on.
Smart
Don't
guy.
ask stupid questions, man. That's my childhood hero. Indie. He knows because he's indie.
So Pamela, you mentioned E3 earlier. Are you heading back there this year?
I would love to, but I don't think so. But you never know until like 2 weeks before, and then you're like, okay, so I'm going to get the hotel that's an hour away. That's what happened before. It was like, no, you're not going. No, you're not going. And in fact, I even asked like this, or last week, I was like, am I going? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, I'll wait like 2 weeks before, and you guys are going to get me that same hotel that's like over an hour away again. But okay, at least I get to go. But no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going this year.
Any predictions and hopes for something you'd like to see? Doesn't have to be Xbox.
Yeah, no. I would love to see more. I like to see more adventure games. So I'm just going to say adventure games.
Adventure games.
Yeah.
Adventure like Zelda, or adventure like Uncharted,
Zelda.
or
Uncharted too. I like Uncharted as well. So yeah, those games. Anything like that, I would love to see.
I'm very, very sorry for this really serious and hardcore question as such, but we do ask all of our guests this one question, and that is, what classic video game character could you knock out with one punch?
Do you mean like if I just hit them, like, and
And you would knock them out.
knock them out?
Yeah. You see, it's very, very, very important, So we really have to ask.
I'm going to take this very seriously. How about Luigi?
Luigi.
Yeah, he's kind of that character face. I don't know. I think.
Right, but you've seen like angry Luigi meme from Mario Kart 8, right?
Yeah. So
The Luigi death stare. Are you sure you want to mess with that?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so it's not going to be Luigi time anymore.
Didn't Jess Corden say Mario?
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Jess
it's been
said
Mario and Luigi now. Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's basically all the time we have for this interview. Thank you so much for joining us, Pamela. You've been an absolutely fantastic guest. I hope you had a good time.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much.
Great. And well, I guess that's it then. Bye
Back to
bye.
the rest of the episode.
Bye.
So thanks, Pamela, for that amazing interview. We'll hopefully get you back on in the near future. But we do have one last story before we go that dropped today when we're recording this. So Clay, take it away. What is our last story?
Yeah, Major Nelson stopped by right before we did the recording here and basically dropping some big announcements for the Xbox console with a new update that's coming out. It sounds like we're going to have arenas available for you to play through on Xbox Live. This allows you to do tournaments through your Xbox console with a number of different games. There's some updates around the profiles and activity feed area. The big one that I think a lot of people are going to be very excited about is the support for custom gamer pictures. Finally. I can go back to having John Stamos as my gamer picture. We've also got a join broadcast button that's being added to your profile. So if you're doing Beam streaming, your friends and followers will be able to easily join you. There is also some updates coming to the clubs and group section, and to be honest, I have not really looked at that or what the hell that is. There's a whole lot of bullet points, though, that's coming with that, so that's very exciting.
I'll just jump in and say that the most important things is that club owners and admins have a little bit more control now. For example, they can sticky posts and stuff like that. And there's also an LFG function.
Cool.
It's going absolutely insane. Sometimes she just gets in a mood, runs around the house and shouts bloody murder.
So, there are two additional updates that I wanted to briefly mention that I'm personally very, very excited about. One is in your games and apps section. They're adding in a filter to allow you filter by Xbox or 360 titles. Thank you, because my digital library is getting out of control, and it's much easier to be able to filter through 360 or Xbox One titles. And then the other one that I'm very, very excited about because I just travel a lot is the ability to support Wi-Fi authentication through the browser, which is perfect for you folks in college or travel around and stay at hotels or trying to use public Wi-Fi. So thank you for that one. And please let that automatically be on the Scorpio as soon as it rolls out.
This is a
question. Rhys, what's going to be your gamer pick?
My gamer pick. I kind of like the one that I have, actually. I've had it for so long, but probably the Nissin Cheese Alien, like I have for Twitter.
Okay. I'm going to stay on brand and have party chat.
Oh, there you go. On brand. I don't know. I'm actually a little torn. I want to do my John Stamos, but I get a lot of messages. I currently have the Titanfall Titan and Pilot as my avatar. I've got one of those little custom screenshots thing, and I get messages from random people that I've played games with, like, how do you get the Titan as an avatar? Like, how do you get that as an avatar? And I'm like, a secret that I will never tell. It was through 7-Eleven. So
They'll never
7-Eleven and 7-Eleven and Red Bull.
Other energy drinks are available.
Yeah.
But well, thank you again, Pamela, for joining us earlier on. And I just want to go through some of the housework as such. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at PartyChatPod. And Rhys mentioned it earlier, but in 3 weeks, we are having a very, very special birthday episode, not only with a returning major guest, but also with messages, games, everything that you expect. You might even see a giveaway of an Xbox One console if the mods allow it.
Ooh. That's the first I'm hearing of that.
But
Banned.
for another week.
What?
The console may or may not exist. But anyway,
It's good. It's good. End it before we do something terrible.
for another week, Xbox turn off.
You're listening to Xbox One Party Chat Podcast, the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit.
Let's do this.
It's just a really fun hobby. I love drawing and painting, so yeah.
Is anyone else just cut off?
Hello?
Ross.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh,
Wow.
that's too funny.
Ross. Nice.
Usually, people put on who's doing what question.
I have.
Where?
There is.
I don't see it.
What happened?
Ross is garbage. Ross completely
I'm
went
an
off
old
script.
document. I was like, oh, well, why is Clay not asking that question? He usually does question number 2.
We can do it again. It's fine.
No, this will all be edited out.
Oh no, this will all be edited out and back in at the end.
Honestly. I was like, did my Skype freeze up?
Yeah, Pam, your Skype totally froze up there. Don't know what happened, but at least we got you back straight away.
I haven't given it a shot yet. Yeah, that's my... I get to one of these like panic modes where I want to play these games and then I psych myself out. It's like, all right, I got to have the lights turned off. I've got to have surround sound on. I'm going to be fully immersed and then play 10 minutes. All right, I got to turn it off. I'm going to have a heart attack. my anxiety levels too high.
My cat is shouting for no reason. You can just, yeah.